Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another installment of the Village Vitality series. My name is Aline, and I will be guiding you today through a session focused on coordination. So, coordination is one of those things that gets a lot trickier as we get older. If we're not practicing and we're not working that mind body connection, working the brain and the nervous system, then we start to lose some of that capability. And that can reflect in a deteriorated walking pattern and just other activities of daily living being a little more challenging because we lose that sense. So, for today, we're keeping it pretty simple in terms of equipment usage. I'm not even using a mat today. However, please use a mat if your chair tends to be slippery on the floor or if you just like it. Go for it. If you already have it set up, just keep it there. No need to remove it. I would recommend removing the footwear and the socks if that is acceptable for your body and your doctor hasn't told you otherwise. We'll be doing some work today with ankle manipulation, with standing on the toes, and so really working those muscles in the feet is going to be wonderful for your bodies, especially if you don't do that on a normal basis. And lastly, I'm not using a towel today. We're not going to be doing any movements that require or would make it easier to use your towel. However, if you have it, go ahead and keep hold of it. You might find a creative use for it during our exercises today. All right, so let's get started in a semi-comfortable but not too comfortable because we want to be using all of our postural strengthening muscles, seated position, or what we would call seated Tadasana or mountain pose. So remember, you can come to the edge of the seat. If you have a lot of issues with your legs falling asleep, your feet falling asleep, or just a lot of discomfort being perched on the edge of that chair, then go ahead and scoot it back, either halfway or all the way to the back of the seat. Really, the main priorities are to try to keep the spine stacked. So shoulders over hips, and then ears over shoulders. As long as you can maintain that in any other seated position, go for whatever feels most comfortable and accessible to your body. So let's find that stance. Now, we are going to work on coordination, even starting with our centering technique. So we'll be doing Nadi Sodhana, our alternate nostril breathing. So remember for this one, we've only done it one other time. So you might not recall the way that you'll use your hand. And so I want to go ahead and show that to you before we get all centered and close the eyes and all of that. So with if you're right-handed, and even if you're not right-handed, try using your right hand. It'll be a little extra challenge for you today. But you'll make a fist with that right hand. You'll release the pinky and ring finger and the thumb. Now, if releasing the ring finger and the pinky together is very challenging, you can barely get that ring finger up, then go ahead and just use pinky and thumb. That's totally fine. And so what we'll be doing is transferring airflow back and forth between the nostrils. And so we'll begin by closing off that left nostril, inhaling through the right, closing both, exhaling through the left, then inhaling through the left, closing both, and exhaling through right. Inhaling through right, closing off both nostrils, exhaling left, inhaling left, back and forth, back and forth. So always an exhale and then an inhale through the same nostril. Don't worry if you didn't catch all that, I'll guide you through it. So let's go ahead and if you're not already in your seated centering, go ahead and come to that position. Root down through the feet. Root down through the tailbone, the bottom of your body. So as you kind of push that bottom down, it'll actually help you lift up a little bit more. So that push down to lift. Chest is open. Shoulders are either just relaxing on their own or maybe forcefully relaxing down. You're pressing them down away. And then trying for just a very slight squeeze of the shoulder blades together. So it's not a really tough military, like squeeze that pencil between the shoulder blades. It's not that extreme, but just a little bit of energetic push of the shoulder blades together. And once you've situated yourself, allow the eyes to close. Notice what the breath does, what the body does once you close those eyes. Maybe you're at the point where you've really trained the body to start taking deep, full breaths, conscious effort, as soon as you close your eyes. And if that didn't happen for you, don't fret, because it will eventually become second nature. Just taking a few normal or slightly deeper breaths here. Observing the posture. Checking in with your body today, because it's different than it was yesterday, the day before, or even a few hours earlier in this same day. How do you feel now in this moment? Where do you observe tightness or openness? Just soak it all in before we begin our breathing exercise. Go ahead and taking that right hand, keeping the elbow in by your side, just lift that hand up towards your face, making that fist, very loose fist here. We're not clenching with the fingers. You'll release the pinky and ring finger and the thumb. And bringing that hand right in front of the mouth is typically the easiest place to bring it. Go ahead and after your next exhale, you'll close off the left nostril and inhale through the right. Close off both nostrils and exhale through the left as you release that left nostril. Inhale left. Close off both. Release the right as you exhale through the right. Inhale right. Close off both and exhale left. Inhale left. Close off both and exhale right. Continuing to exhale and then inhale through the same nostril. And then switching, exhaling first and then inhaling. Continue to move at your own pace. As I mentioned the first time that we practiced this technique, you can still do this even if you're using oxygen. Just be very gentle as you press and know that you're not going to press, close off that nostril entirely. Keep going back and forth, exhaling, and then inhaling through that one nostril. And then switching, exhaling, and then inhaling. You may observe that one side is much more congested than the other. Totally normal. Try to work with it as best you can. If one nostril is totally blocked, then don't close off the opposite nostril entirely. Just close it off as much as you can to still allow yourself to breathe. If that arm or shoulder is starting to get tired, you can use the left hand to just prop and hold up that right elbow. Or you can release those middle fingers to rest on your forehead, which can sometimes help. Try to take about 3 to 5 more cycles of breath here. And one cycle is breathing, inhaling, exhaling through both nostrils. Take your time. And remember, if your body has given you cues to stop, like dizziness or lightheadedness, then go ahead and release this breathing technique whenever you need to. Whenever you are ready to release, after an inhale, instead of closing off both nostrils, you'll open both and exhale through both nostrils, releasing that hand. And just staying here in observation for a few moments, noticing perhaps how different it feels to breathe through both nostrils again. We'll begin to work our first coordination movements. Feel free to keep the eyes closed or open them if you need to watch to follow along. We'll begin with some cat and cow movements, coordinating with our right leg. So rooting down through that left leg. Now I forgot to mention, if you are scooted back in the chair, go ahead and shift on forward, making sure that the knees are hip width apart and that the heels are underneath those knees. Go ahead and bring those hands to about mid-thigh. We'll be moving to straighten and bend our right leg as we move through some cat and cow tilts with the spine. So what that will look like is on your exhale, as you're pressing air out, you'll push that right leg out to straighten it, slide the hands forward, scoop navel to spine on that exhale, chin drops to chest. On your inhale, as you move into cow, you'll slide that foot in and possibly even under you a little bit as you bring the hands back towards the hips into your back bend posture. So again, you'll exhale as you straighten the arms, straighten the right leg, fold down, engage the abdominals, press navel to spine. Squeeze out as much air as you can. And on your inhale, opposite movement, sliding that foot in, lifting and opening the chest and the chin and the belly. So exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Try your best to work with straightening and bending that leg. I know it's challenging. It might even be a little frustrating, but see if you can work with it. Of course, you can always just do cat and cow. But even if you're having trouble coordinating here, you're still going to benefit from the process of attempting to do so. Typically, people are not able to do everything perfectly the first time. So don't give up yet. Let's take one more round. And straighten that leg out. Keep it there. Go ahead and inhale the arms up. Now we'll exhale to hinge forward, keeping the spine long. Inhale to center. Exhale to tilt back. Inhale, hold. Exhale, twist. Any amount, nothing major here. Inhale, center. And up. All right, let's try that a couple more times. So we're exhaling forward. Inhaling, center. Exhaling, tilting back. Remember, keep the spine long. Keep those abdominals engaged. Inhale here, hold. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, hold, and inhale up. Exhale, reach forward. Last one. Inhale, center. Exhale, tilt. Inhale, hold. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, hold. Inhale, up. And exhale, release into that forward fold stretch. Really stretching here into the calf, the hamstrings. For some folks, it might be difficult to feel that hamstring stretch, especially if you're pretty flexible. You might not feel it very much in this position, but I do encourage you to either come lower, maybe even reaching to the floor in your stretch. So when I do that personally, now I feel that in my hamstrings. Or try, or really both maybe, try that pelvic tilt work. So remember, our pelvis is going to have the tendency to scoop under here. It's just easier. It's just what our body does, especially if the hamstrings are tight. What we want to do is try to push that pelvis back. So I'm rocking that pubic bone down, trying to open my sits bones, basically the bony parts when I sit down that I might feel, especially if I'm sitting on a harder chair. And work with that tilt, because honestly, even without me moving down further, if I'm really powerfully tilting, I feel that stretch the hamstrings. Go ahead and inhale to come up. On your exhale, we're going to tilt back, but this time support ourselves here. So hands on the chair behind you. Try to keep those shoulders down. So we're trying not to put a whole lot of weight here, at least not so much that we sink into the shoulders. And we're going to start working with some hip rotation. So turning the toes out and then back to the front. Maybe your heel hovers slightly over the ground here if you want a little more challenge. Abdominals are engaged, but you're probably not feeling it quite as much as when we did our reaching back and twisting. So starting with just rotating. Now, let's take it up a level. See if you can incorporate an ankle rotation as well. So as you open out to the side, start to rotate that ankle down, and as you come to center, rotating it out and up. So hip, toes, and up. Out. My toes come down. I start to rotate that knee back up towards the ceiling, turn that ankle in, and toes up. Now, if adding this ankle roll, you start losing the hip rotation, you may want to drop the ankle roll. Not sure which one's the most important. Probably, honestly, working at the hip joint. Although the ankle joints are really important for fall prevention as well. So try your best to do both. Pretty powerful movement here. It looks simple. It looks like we're not doing much, but you probably are starting to feel it here in the hip and in the ankle. Let's do one more rotation. Notice how I'm working my toes here too, just trying to get through that full range of motion. And go ahead and sit back up. Slide that right foot in. Take any kind of decompressive movements that you need to. And let's try that on the other side. Especially if you're starting to have anything fall asleep here, this is a good time to shift. Maybe just shift back in your chair and then come back towards the front. So we'll meet with that left leg straight, right foot on the ground when you're ready. Moving into our cat and cows on the other side. So yeah, I guess we can start. Actually, we'll start with both feet under us. And then when you're ready, on your exhale, you'll straighten that left leg, hands move forward, scoop here with the abdomen. And on your inhale, opposite movement, maybe that foot even slides under you. Exhale. and inhale. I know some of you were really wanting a chance to work on this one again, so you're welcome. And if you weren't looking forward to it, just do your best here. And be kind to yourself. We are typically our toughest critic. We might think we're doing something terribly, and someone else thinks it's amazing. Probably everyone else thinks it's pretty amazing. So be gentle. Try to work through that movement. Straightening, hands move forward, rounding out, scooping out on the exhale. Back bending, that foot comes under you, hands towards the hips on inhale. One more round. And then straighten that leg out, but keep the spine neutral. We'll work with our shifting now. So arms come up, just starting to really warm that core up. You're going to exhale to move forward. Inhale to center. Exhale to rock back. Feel those abdominals engage. Inhale, hold. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, up. I kind of cheated on that one. We'll do the next two right. So we're going to exhale, reach forward. That was a warm up. Inhale, center. Exhale, reach back. Inhale, hold. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, hold. Inhale, up. One more time. Try to keep those arms lifted as you can, if you can. Exhaling forward. Inhale, center. Exhale, back. Keep that spine long, shoulders relaxed. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, hold. Inhale, center. And exhale, move into your nice little forward stretch. Remember what I mentioned on the other side about the hamstrings? You may be feeling it in the calf, but if you're not feeling it in the back of the upper leg, then either try moving a little deeper. Oh, yes, I feel that. And or work on that tilt. In fact, everyone, whether you're feeling it or not, try working on that tilt. You can amplify the stretch a little bit. And remember, so you're trying to really push those sits bones back. Tailbone and belly are pushing forward and down towards the ground. Just allowing a couple more deep breaths here, trying to relax wherever you can, wherever you tend to be clenching and holding. And on an inhale, slowly start to come up. Keeping that left leg where it is, you'll lean back again, but this time with the support of the hands. Still though, trying not to sink down or let those shoulders lift up because you're working the shoulders more than the abdominals. I shifted forward in my seat a little bit for this one, so get comfortable and perhaps slightly hovering that heel over the ground. We're just going to start working with the rotations first. So rotating at the hip joint, really powerfully activating those outer hips, and then coming back to center. Rotate and center. Notice here, if you can, or if you paid attention enough on the last side, maybe you'll notice if you can rotate further or not quite as far on this side. It's very common for the sides to be uneven. And practices like this are wonderful for identifying that and then attempting to even out as much as possible. It's okay for the body to be a little lopsided, but as some of you know from personal experience, The more of that you have can lead to a lot of dysfunction, pain, discomfort, and all that. So let's add that ankle rotation now. So we rotate out. Keep that outward rotation as you point through the toes, and then rotate up as you circle that ankle in and back up. So rotating out, toes and hip. Keep that external rotation if you can until you get to about to the toes pointed, and then circle in and up. Again, just trying to work with this as best you can. You can do this with the heel still on the ground as well. You just won't get quite as much ankle room for ankle mobility. Work through those toes too. Try to move them, spread them out. 2 more circles. Remember, really still trying to push that external rotation at the hip. And coming back to center, relaxing. Come on up and slide that foot under you. Final movement here before we take a little vinyasa. Come up to standing. We'll do some toe taps. So sitting up really tall here. Hands, I'd recommend to the hips. Lift up that right heel. We're going to tap and open the toes out as far as we can. And then to center. Out and center. A slight lift of the knee. A little more challenge if you want. You can lift it higher up and engage those hip flexors more. But if you start to notice you round when you do that, then don't lift it so high. Really want to maintain that upright posture. So moving with the breath, exhaling and inhaling, exhaling and inhaling. Hip might be popping. Again, that's pretty normal. Typically, ligaments moving against the bone. And open it out. Go ahead and release that heel down. If you're not quite at a 90-degree angle, see if you might want to just open out a little bit more, possibly even shift in the chair to that right side a bit until you are making about a 90-degree angle there with the legs. And go ahead and slide that right forearm down to that right thigh. And just open that chest forward towards the left leg. See what you're stretching here. It'll be different for everyone. I'm feeling it a little in the inner thigh of my right leg, a little bit in the hip. If you'd like to add some shoulder mobility and coordination work here, follow along. So we're going to take that left arm. We're going to swoop it down, swoop it around and up. Open it out any amount, and then circle it back and down. 2 more times like that. So circling down, up, maybe even sending the gaze towards the ceiling as you open that heart up any amount. Circle down and around. 1 more time, unless, of course, it does not feel good to the shoulder joint. And then you're just going to keep holding this stretch without moving those arms. Excellent. Go ahead and slowly come up. And let's bring those feet back together. If you have shifted over to your right side, go ahead and shift back to center. Perching at the edge of that seat, hands on hips. Lift that left heel up, plant down through the right, and let's tap it out. So we're opening and tapping and closing and tapping. Exhale, inhale in. Exhale out, inhale in. So trying to coordinate that breath work with the movement. And so do realize you may go faster or slower than me because you'll be moving at your breath pace, not mine. Keep breathing. Keep moving. You got this. Let's do 2 more taps. Tap. Last one. Leave it out to the side. Whew. And again, if you'd like to, shift over just a little bit to free up those hips in order to get a little bit more opening in the legs. This time, left forearm is going to come down to that left thigh. Just try not to place it on the knee itself. And you may just want to hang out here, trying to open that chest forward towards the right leg and just relax. Or try working with your shoulder and hand coordination and really getting into that shoulder mobility, which is phenomenal. So taking that right arm out, you're going to swoop it down. Notice I'm not dropping the chest down. I'm trying to keep the chest open even as I send that arm up. Open it out and send it down. Exhaling, inhaling to bring that arm up, and exhaling to bring it down. One more. And exhaling down. And go ahead and inhale back up to center, bringing those legs back together and shifting back to center. Getting ready for a vinyasa here. So remember, if you would like to create more room for the abdomen, then go ahead and widen the stance of the feet here now. I'm going to take that wide stance today so I can get a little bit more hip opening. You'll inhale the arms up and either bring them down for your exhale, bring them out for your exhale, or keep them up for your exhale. So getting ready, let's inhale the arms up. And on the exhale, folding forward. Releasing down into that forward fold position. Here's an opportunity to let go of some tension. So if you're holding tension in the shoulders and the neck, which I don't really think I've met anyone that doesn't hold tension in those places. No matter how much yoga you do, unless you're yogaing all day long, you're probably holding on to some tension at some point. So take a few breaths here to work it out a little bit. And on the inhale, start to lift back up. Let's go ahead and send those hands to the thighs. Really engage the back here. Mid back, upper back. Let's send those arms back behind us. And on an inhale, slowly come up, reach those arms back. Exhale, go ahead and grab hold of the chair. And on your inhale, press forward for your back bend. Breath or two here, holding your back bend, but not holding your breath. Release on an exhale when you're ready. Let's go ahead and shift over to the right. Now, for this next little series, we don't want to be totally parallel to the back of the chair. We want to be just on a little bit of an angle. I find that easiest to transition between the postures that we're going to try to work our coordination with today. So you do want to be at the corner, but still firmly supported, especially in that right hip. You're going to send that left leg out, if you can, perpendicular to that front leg. So finding gate pose. We're going to transition between gate to a high lunge to a twist. We're going to try to do that 3 times on each side. We'll move slowly, breath by breath, Let me demo the first time, so you just hang out here in gate and watch me for this first time, okay? So we're going to bring that left hand to the left hip. Inhale that right arm up. Exhale into your side reach as far as you can comfortably go, getting a nice stretch in that side. On an inhale, you'll come back up to center. Grab hold of the back of the chair. On an exhale, you're going to start to rotate the hips over towards that right side, pivoting onto the back toes. And I did shift my right foot just a little bit more to the side. So now I'm in a high lunge position, feeling a good stretch here in the front of the hip. Inhaling that arm up and allowing for a breath here. Then I'm going to exhale and twist any amount towards that chair. So I might be able to get this right hand to the outer right edge, left hand to the left edge, but maybe not. Maybe that hand's just on here and here. Basically go wherever your body will allow for that twist. And then coming back to center on an inhale. Send that arm up on another inhale. And on your exhale, as you open that arm out, you're going to try to bring that foot down and pivot back to your gate pose. All right, so join me for the next few rounds. So we're going to left hand to hip. Inhale that right arm up. Exhale into your side reach. Inhale to come back up and out. Exhale to release that arm. On an inhale, grabbing hold of the chair, starting to pivot, rotating on to the back toes. Maybe we're taking a couple breaths here in transition. When you're ready, an inhale will lift that left arm. One more inhale. And on your exhale, moving into your twist. Take a deep breath or two here. Inhale to lift. Exhale to release the twist. Inhale, left arm up. And exhale as you open out, trying to come back to gate. Do it twice more. This time, let's see if we can go breath by breath through each pose. So it may feel a little bit fast. Just do your best to follow along, but you can, of course, spend more time in each posture if you prefer. So gate pose, inhaling that right arm up, exhaling side bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, arm down. Inhale, rotate to high lunge. Exhaling to get situated. Inhale, left arm up. And exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen in that twist. Exhale, release to center. Inhale, left arm up. And exhale, gate. Yeah, let's do it one more time. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, full gate pose. Inhale, center. Exhale, release. Inhale, start to pivot into that high lunge. Take an exhale here as well. So full breath in transition. I know, so generous. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the top of the head in that twist. Exhale, release the twist. Inhale, left arm up. And exhale, open out. Nice work. Go ahead and slowly come on back to your seated Tadasana. I'm going to turn my chair so that you can see my legs better as we go through that on the other side. I know we're so lucky. We have two sides. We get to do all of that again. So finding seated Tadasana or mountain pose. Remember, perhaps the feet are a little wider apart. When you're ready, an inhale lifts the arms. And an exhale folds you forward. Releasing here. Perhaps, again, just working to release the shoulders, the neck. If you feel pretty open here or loosened up in those areas, you might like to try just deepening your fold, reaching for those leg chairs, chair legs. Or trying to just grab the hands underneath you or grab opposite elbows. Or laugh at that suggestion because you're not quite there yet in flexibility, and that's totally fine. Just taking about 2 to 3 more breaths here. Trying to release, letting gravity do its thing to traction out the spine. Release whatever you're doing with your hands and get ready on an inhale to start to lift the head and shoulders. Really engage those back muscles, lifting about halfway up. Now here, engaging the core and the back. Send those arms back behind you. Press into those feet. That'll help you as well as you inhale to lift up. Exhale, find the chair. And inhale, press forward into your back bend. Just taking 1 to 3 breaths here. When you're ready, releasing that back bend on an exhale. And let's get ready for the fun, the coordination fun. So remember, about a 45-degree angle. So you're not parallel with the back of the chair. We're angling a little bit towards the front. I'm going to come up to that left side a little bit more, left corner. I'm going to root that left foot down, send that right foot out to the side. And I'm going to demo one more time while you're getting all situated, and so that you can get a feel for it so you can join me for all 3 of our rounds here. So right hand to right hip, inhale, left arm up. Exhale, I'm reaching to the side. Remember, we're going to take more than 1 breath in each position for that first round. But then I'm going to grab the chair. I'm going to pivot into my high lunge, so shifting that hip, coming to the back toes, possibly shifting that left foot a little bit. Arm up. Exhaling, moving into my twist. Coming back to center, back to high lunge. And then opening out to gate again. So let's do it. Couple breaths in each pose for this first round so you can get a feel for it. Inhale that left arm up. Exhale into your side reach and hold here for a breath or 2. On an inhale, coming up. On an exhale, releasing that arm. Go ahead and take a breath or 2 to shift into your high lunge. So remember, you're pivoting onto those toes, rotating that right hip down and forward. So now the hips are both facing towards that front knee. Maybe you've shifted that foot a bit. Inhale that right arm up when you're ready. And take a breath or 2 here. High lunge. You can always lift up away from the seat if you just want a little more leg strengthening and challenge. And on an exhale, go ahead and move into your twist. Shoulders down, chest open. Take one more inhale here. Exhale to release that twist. Inhale to find high lunge again. Maybe even both arms come up. I didn't give that option on the other side, but if you feel good, go for it. And on your exhale, opening back out into gate. Now, let's try to speed it up a little bit, breath by breath. Inhale that left arm up. Exhale, reach. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release that arm. Inhale and exhale to move into your high lunge. Next inhale raises that arm up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lift and lengthen out of that twist. And exhale, unwind. Inhale, right arm up. And exhale, gate. Inhale, left arm up. Last time. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, up. Exhale to release the arm. Inhale as you start to pivot. And exhale. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, twist. Inhale in your twist, lengthening. And exhale, release the twist. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, open out. Nice work. Relax that leg. Walk those feet back to center. Decompress however you need to. Let's come up to standing and just do a little bit of standing work, a little bit of balance and strength, and then we'll cool down. So come up however you need to, or come up through a chair pose hold. So if you're going for chair pose, remember you're still keeping space between the knees. Walk those feet under you. Heels will be lifted at first, but then you're going to shift that weight forward and try to press those heels down. Sweep those hands forward so you're getting that kind of push forward to lift those heavy hips out of that chair. So push forward, lift. Try to hold here if you can. See if you can get that kind of a back bend almost, where you're lifting the chest a little bit, lifting the arms. And on an inhale, slowly straightening. Exhale, joining the palms together in front of the heart. Just tapping into that heartbeat against your thumbs for a breath or two. Nice work, everyone. We're standing. Let's come behind our chair. Do a little bit of goddess work. Strengthening quads, calves, and working on our balance and stability at the same time. Oh, and of course, coordination as well. So, for goddess, you want to be at least about 6 inches from your chair. Remember, we never want to be touching it. It's a little too close. We need to be a little ways away, just to accommodate for our bodies, of course, but then also to test that balance and strength a little bit. So I'm going to open my feet out to really about the width of my chair or a little wider. So thinking shoulder width or wider. Notice my toes are at about a 45-degree angle. The most important thing, maybe 2 things about this movement. One is to push those knees out. So we got to powerfully engage our external rotator muscles, our glutes, to pull and open out. That's going to protect the knees. So if my knees are bowing in like this as I come down, it's just not great for those knee joints. It might cause some discomfort there. So I really want to push out. That's going to work with the mobility in my hip and work to strengthen. Remember, I love those combos. So we're just coming down. Oh, and the second most important thing is not letting this happen. So it'll be really easy to just let that belly dump forward, let that butt kind of open up back. We actually want to kind of tuck a little bit. It's not a powerful like tuck, but we want to just keep neutral. So I'm coming down and up. And maybe I'm only coming down 2 inches, and my body says, yep, that's it. Totally fine. When you come up, make sure not to lock those knees. So we want the legs to stay straight, but we do not want to lock them out. Bend and straighten. Just moving nice and slow. If you need to adjust the feet, do it. So if you're having trouble with the knees, then you probably want to rotate the toes inward just a little bit more. Keep that belly engaged. Oh yeah, everything's probably burning a little bit. Let's come down. Left heel up. Whew. Right heel up and straighten. Let's take a little breather. Let's do that a few more times. So coming down, hold, left foot, right foot, straighten. Take a breath or two. It's pretty intense, I know. If you need to sit one out, you can. But let's try to challenge if possible, as long as we're still breathing. As long as you're still breathing, you have to keep going. Bend left, right, and up. Let's try for 2 more. So if you've taken a rest, see if you can join in for these last 2. Right and up. Last one. And then we're going to hold it. You should have known I wasn't going to let you off that easy. So hold here. Knees opening out. Engage, engage, engage. Maybe balance. Woo. Breathe. Maybe even purslet breathing. Navel to spine. See if you can hold it any longer. Come up when you need to. And if you're still hanging out here, awesome work. Relax those hands. Come up. Woo. All right, let's heel toe those feet in a little bit. Goodness. Let's stretch out those hips a bit, and then we'll stretch out the quads. So for the hips, one of my favorites, basically slow motion hula hooping. So feet are about hip width apart. You can start by just pressing the glutes back. You're going to press them over to the left side. Make sure there's a slight bend in both knees. Straightening up, hips move forward just a little bit. Over to that right side and back. Notice where you're feeling stretch. Right in here. Getting that hip. So you may want to just pause in any place. Hip flexors here. That feels particularly good. Maybe good's not the right word. Particularly sensational. Sensationful. So maybe just made up a word there. But I think you get the idea. One more circle. Now for our quad stretch, these thigh muscles, I'm gonna give you 2 options. It may be a bit challenging just to maneuver into this stretch. So ideally, if you're able to, you're gonna bend. Let's start with actually, because the way I'm facing, let's start with right leg. Sorry, I just worked out this chair stretch. It's a little, it's new to me. So if you can, you're going to try to just grab hold of that foot and stretch here with your traditional standing quadricep stretch, trying to press that right hip forward. Now, if that's not accessible at all to you, you cannot lift your foot that high. Hopefully, you can, see, I did it wrong. Right leg. Hopefully, you can do this with the aid of your chair. So you'll come around to the front of your chair, right side facing the seat of the chair. I'm coming to the leg of my chair here so I can still kind of grab hold here for balance. And if you can get your shin to that chair, then hopefully you feel your stretch here. So you're stretching the quad. Again, possibly pressing forward through the hip if you need to feel it a little bit more. If you're not really feeling a stretch here, and you can, maybe grab your pant leg or something like that. But actually, you probably can't really do that because then you wouldn't have anything to hold on to. So let's just hang out here, getting our little stretch, or coming behind the chair and grabbing hold of the pant leg or the foot or the ankle. Good work today, guys. When you're ready to come out of this, if you're standing behind your chair, just release that foot, shake it out. If you're here with me, you're just going to try to shift that foot back and off the chair. Now, I'm going to turn the chair so you can see me on the other side, but all you'll need to do is just come around to the other side of your chair. So again, I'm coming around left side facing the chair this time, or remember, if you can grab the pant leg or the foot, then you're doing that back here, because that's definitely going to give you the best stretch for your quads. But if you can't manage that, which probably most of you won't be able to, and that's normal, then you're going to try to get that shin up to the chair. So my knee is kind of hanging off the front of the chair. And then I'm just trying to press forward through the hip until I feel that nice stretch across the top of the thigh. And take a couple nice deep breaths here. Try to relax the shoulders. Don't worry so much about posture and alignment. Just really soaking in that stretch. Who's ready to relax? I know I am. So, taking one more deep breath here. On your exhale, letting go of your stretch. You can let go of your foot if you're behind the chair, or you can slowly bring that chair off, or bring that knee off the chair. Mixing up my words today. Decide how you would like to relax today. So maybe that means you're shifting over to the couch, perhaps laying on the couch, relaxing in your chair, relaxing on the floor, putting your legs up in the chair. You decide. Take a minute to get comfortable. If I had a couch, I'd be laying on it right now. Wherever you end up, try to let those legs relax. There's almost a bit of a opening here. So the knees are falling open to the sides. Even if you're laying on your back, you're releasing there in the hips. Hands can rest wherever they feel most comfortable. Try to get those shoulders down away from the ears, even if you're laying down. Sometimes we still have that tendency, that habitual holding pattern of raising those shoulders. So once you've gotten comfortable, try to find a sense of stillness. This can almost be the hardest thing for a lot of people, this pose that looks so easy, like we're just totally relaxing, right? But can we find stillness in the body and in the mind? Bring your focus to an inward scan of observation. Just, are you holding on anywhere in the body still? Are you clenching anywhere that you could be releasing and inviting space, inviting release, inviting openness? And start your scan at one point and work your way to another point. So perhaps starting at the feet, working your way up the legs, up the abdomen, down the arms, and up the head, or perhaps the opposite order. Allow the breath to relax as well without trying to control it, without trying to manipulate in any way. And once you have achieved this sense of extreme restfulness, notice how your body feels now. Perhaps it feels light. Perhaps it feels heavy. Or neither, something different. Start to breathe a little deeper now. Bringing movement back to your body first, just through your breath. Notice when you do this how your body wants to stretch and move. Go ahead and invite movement in whatever shape feels good to you. Just waking the body back up, opening the eyes whenever you're ready. It's amazing how relaxed you can get in such a short amount of time for that Shavasana practice. As always, thank you so much for joining. Please express some gratitude to yourself for continuing this practice, for maybe doing something totally different that you're not used to. It's just so beneficial, and I hope that you're seeing some benefit from it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please reach out to me at any time. If you'd like worksheets or anything else, let me know. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.